Yeah, I think it's going to work this time. All right. Am I on? I think I'm on now. Shout out to the guys being patient with me on Instagram. All right, no intro. We're going to jump right into it, guys. Shout out to everybody watching right now and in the future, more importantly. So, anyway, to the people who follow me on Instagram, we started the $2,500 challenge. This is something we're doing on Tastyworks because the presentation, the UI on Tastyworks just gets it done. I mean, people really like the presentation on Tastyworks and how Tastyworks presents the information. I think they do such a good job of doing that. And I don't think there's any better of a brokerage to do this $2,500 challenge on than Tastyworks, right? Putting this in my interactive brokers account wouldn't be fair because most of you guys can't. Many of you guys can't. You obviously, I know I got a lot of rich as hell subscribers, but not all of you guys have the money to do it. What I love about Tastyworks is that hell, even with $500, they'll give you a margin. They'll give you a margin account with $500. They'll give you a margin account with $500. And I'm really excited about doing this because I think this is like the first. No, we've done a challenge like this before. First time it was with penny stocks, right? And that kind of wasn't fair. This was like 3 years ago. That kind of wasn't fair because I was like promoting. I was promoting the stocks in the challenge, so that wasn't fair. So hell yeah, we had like 300% gains and shit. What's going on, Patrice Jameson? Shout out to the people in the chat room. Felix Sapini. Yes, indeed. Adrian T. Yes, indeed. Oh, you just got, okay, yeah, I was trying to go live, but I had hit up people on Instagram that I was trying to go live. It was just giving me all types of hell. I had to restart my damn, what you call it, little box that the internet comes out of. I'm sorry, I'm just not tech inclined like that. Router. So, yeah, it was Kenny Duddy said got his hair slicked back. So, I know it could be stuttering a little bit. All right, it could be. I hope it's not. We'll make it through the show. And I don't want to fight with it, and I didn't want to like come tomorrow and stuff like that. I told you guys I'd be here, so I'm going to be here. But I really hate it when sometimes technology is not cooperating with me. But with that being said, and you know what's crazy? This is supposed to be gigabyte internet, AT&T gigabyte internet. That's what's really irritating. And I swear I've never gotten, I think the best I got was like 200 MBS. And this was like a month and a half ago. And after that, it's been like 25, 30, and they've told me I'm going to get 1,000. Anyway, with this $2,500 account challenge, it's a completely zeroed out account. All right, it's a completely empty. Again, I haven't used Tastyworks here in over a year. Let me show you guys the account right now. All right, so this is the account. As you can see here, the money hasn't cleared yet, so you don't see anything on cash. But you can see there, $2,500.28. I literally had 28 cents in this account. There are no trades. All right, there are no trades in here. All right, there are no trades in here. Supposedly, the money will clear on Friday. We deposited on Monday. The money will clear on Friday. Every trade that I do, I will make a video for it. And then, we'll, of course, through the show, we'll update, along with what you guys are looking at, where we are in regards to this account. Just to kind of, spice up the show a little bit, but also give you an idea of how non-directional trading can work out for you. Because right now, as I said in my last show, we're experiencing a ton of theta burn right now, man. Where, a lot of guys who are sitting in calls, they're getting burned, man. I mean, the last 3 days have just been horrible for call buyers, directionally and just theta, just on that theta burn that's been occurring. Now, looking at the chart here, you're still very much, above your moving averages here, right? So we're just below the 10, but we're still very much bullish in regards to the trend. So I'm not prepared to take the short side of any of this just yet. All of these pullbacks have been opportunities for people to jump in here and make more money. And this is basically a way to fool the bears and to create that extra leg higher. Right? And that's what they've been doing and doing a good job of it. Again, looking through the chart just from June, you can see these last two pullbacks. They've massacred bears here. All right. So using that anticipation for the collapse to turn around and create an extra leg of strength. All right. And that's dangerous. That's really dangerous to do. So you don't want to jump in there yet. All right. So again, I'm really excited about the challenge. I'm really excited about showing you guys, how to turn a small account into a very sizable or respectable sizable account. Really, once you get to about 5,000, I would say 7,500 becomes pretty much automatic, right? Because once you get to 5,000, you can generate at least 1,500 on 5,000 on the monthly basis, or at least every 45 days, right? And then every 2,000 after that, then you're talking about another 1,000. So 7,500, then we're looking at 2,000. 9,500, we're looking at 4,000. So that's how you, and I'll break it all down. I'll show you, man. I'll show you. Shout out to everybody who goes to my ebook site, the Traders Library. We got books that break this all down. I'm telling you guys, the YouTube videos don't do enough justice. You gotta really get into some of these option books. You actually have to do some due diligence with your, not just looking into the stocks, but actually getting more knowledge into the field, because these books contain 25 to 35 years of somebody's life in the business that a 1 hour, 2 hour show on YouTube I can't translate that kind of information. You know what I'm saying? I can do my best to make videos, for example, that RSI video that a lot of you guys really liked and stuff like that. But that, you sometimes you just got to put in an hour or two a day to find that time, man. All right. So can I break down some trade ideas? I wish I could take these trades right now. Now, Friday, they'll still be pretty good, but obviously that premium burn every single day is putting money into the account, right? So as nice as they look right now, they won't be as attractive on Friday, but, they still might be something you want to play. Today is actually the beginning of the monthly options, especially on a lot of these 30-day options that I'm going to show you. And today would have been a great day for you to get inside, and that's why we did that show on Monday, to kind of show you how to generate some revenue or some income, really, on a sideways move in the market. All right. And the first one off the top, it was Beyond Meat. If you watched the show on Monday, Beyond Meat, we love this trade, right? We love this trade. And this was interesting because now, obviously, the title of the show, we're going to show you some trades today that are under $500. Now, this one in particular was a $2,000 trade. It was netting you $770 over the course of 2.5 weeks, all right, on a $2,000 investment. Okay. I think brief moment here as I grab that trade again here for you. Yes, you can do a $200 trade in Beyond Meat on some of these options, believe it or not, taking just one side of the trade. You can do it. Don't feel that you can't. And all right, here's the trade right here. All right, so here was the trade. Oh, I'm moving everything here. Hold on. So here was the trade we showed on Monday. Again, still looking good, right? So the idea was that we're just buying 2 contracts of the August 16, right? And of course, as you know, on an iron condor, again, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to break this all down. I'm going to show you, all right? I just wanted to knock the show out, but I'm going to, we're going to make videos on this. So if you're not getting it now, you're going to get it. Trust me, you're going to get it, all right? You will get this. But as you know, iron condor, we're going to buy a call, sell a call. We're going to sell a put, buy a put, right? And that creates that condor, that protection mechanism that generates the money that we're looking to make. So the total cost of this trade, because this is a cash protected trade, was $2,230. It was going to net $770 if Beyond Meat is less than $193.85 and greater than $111.15 by August the 16th. Now, here's the deal. We're not looking to get the max gain, which is $770. Why? Because the probability of max gain could be as low as 65%, 75%, maybe even 80. Probably not 80 because there wouldn't be that big of a max gain, but probably 65 to 70%. But what is the probability of making 50% of that $770? That probability typically is over 90%. It's over 90%. Now, this was done on August the 10th. It's already been a week. We've got only 9 more days left in this trade to make the 50% on the 2230, right? On the 2230. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is how you trade iron condors the right way. Now, a lot of people will tell you hold for max gain. You're increasing your probability to actually lose when you do that, right? Because it's already risky. So we want to just hit 50%. Many of you guys have understood this trading idea from Tasty Trade, and here's the trade right now. Worked really in our favor today by having a red day. All right. Having a red day really helped out today. If we break below 164, we could close the trade. Because in an iron condor, depending on when you take the position, if the stock declines aggressively enough, one side of the trade can either gain or lose value so much that what you want in terms of profit could be reached. If Beyond Meat goes to below 165, then the probability of it crossing 193 becomes insanely high, right? Insanely low. Insanely low. So that side becomes significantly less valuable than it is now, and I can then close the trade for my profit. All right. Felix Sapini, you said Beyond Meat burned you. That's why it's dying. It's burning you because you're in a directional trade. That's why. You see, you're in a directional trade. You probably don't have any call side protection. You just simply went in there naked and bought a put, hoping the stock will go down, and now you're losing because, as you can see, the stock is going sideways. So again, that's why my last episode, Theta Burn, this is where, again, we're in between a major announcement on earnings. We're in between on the 26th getting the new GDP number for the quarter. So there's not a lot of action people want to make here. See, that's why it's also important for you to know when these economic indicators are coming out. Nobody really wants to take any big bets here. All right, so we're just going to sit back and enjoy all right, and see where the market is going, because we need more data, right? Because, at these levels, things become even more sensitive, guys. Things become even more sensitive. A lot of traders become a little bit more itchy, right? They're quick to jump out of trades, all right? Because we're at all-time highs. I don't have to repeat that too many times, all right? And nobody wants to hold the bag, Nobody wants to hold the bag. We haven't said bag holder on this show in a long time. That used to be one of my favorite words, bag holder, right? When we talk straight OTC. All right, because that's a thing in that market. Well, guess what? At all-time highs, you can quickly become a bag holder if you don't know what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, right? And we saw that today in CXX. Boy, I don't even know what to say. I mean, CXX losing nearly 15% of its value today, and we had Adrian T. I think he asked me about X or some other ticker, and these are the stocks that are fundamental to a great economy, right? These stocks should be doing well. These companies should be doing well. Tickers like X, like CXX, like Duke Energy and DTE, and these are the companies that make up the foundation of a successful economy, and they're not doing well. They're not doing well. So that hasn't showed yet in terms of the market as a whole. Why? Because tech is so overweighted. Tech is so overweighted. The Googles, the Facebooks, the Netflix got crushed today of the world. Finally, the market realized what everybody already knows. Netflix is boring as hell. Netflix is boring as hell. But let me not jump. We'll get into that. All right. We got some people picking this up off the floor here. Obviously, yes. On that crushing news, that probably was a great trade to make intraday. But obviously, there's some fundamental issues here that are broken. But here's the thing: the stock is still up. Still up. Well, I'm looking. This is probably over 25% from December 24th. Right. So the stock is still relatively up, but did lose quite a bit of value today. All right. Did lose quite a bit of value today. SSE Trader, he hit me up today during the day, and he was looking at Netflix. And I want to just knock this out today. Netflix, and we've already talked about Netflix on the show. Netflix is just boring to me, man. Once in a while, they will come out with a movie, and then everybody's like, oh, it's pretty cool. They had that little Bird Box movie that was just a whole lot of cooning on that movie. I don't want to get in trouble, but oh my God, we gotta save her. We gotta save her. Oh, I don't want you to get hurt, man. Oh, have you guys seen that Bird Box movie? That's basically like an action version of Driving Miss Daisy. Anyway, let me keep going. Netflix last quarter told analysts and investors that they were looking at possibly generating 5.5 million in subscribers this quarter. All right, that's a lot of people. 5.5 million. 5.5. That's a lot of subscribers. All right, that's a lot of people paying $14.99. They missed 2.7. They came out 2.7. That's really bad. That's really bad. And it's self-created because, again, they shouldn't have put out such an ostentatious, and I know I'm not saying it right, number, but that's what they did. They told people they were going to subscribe 5.5 million people and only did 2.7. And they're paying for it right now after hours. I think it was like $3.21 or something like that now. $3.19. Right? And in a non-directional trading strategy with the kind of capital we're working with, just $2,500, these are not the kind of place we're going to be in. Right? These are stocks that are have, just like Beyond Meat, have very high implied volatility. Right? Now, Beyond Meat is a joke. That's why that's a trade that I would look to make once we get a little bit more capital in the account. But that right there is a joke. But Netflix, again, a non-directional trading strategy, you wouldn't even trade into earnings to begin with. You don't trade into earnings. You don't trade into dividends. All right, that two big no-nos. You don't trade. You don't take positions also in stocks that have buyout rumors. 3 absolutely no-nos. All right. But again, this is how that implied volatility can really hurt you, because you got a lot of people who will actually preach another thing. They'll say, oh, well, Sal, on a high IV trade, you take in more credit. Absolutely. You take in a lot more credit. But your probability of success, even at 50% of max gain, is low. Is relatively low. So you actually really want to stick with stocks that have, low probability, low implied volatility. So we like stocks that actually don't move a lot, right? So we would like something like IR, right? As you can see here, let's put this on a monthly, or even a weekly, right? So as you can see here, IR and a weekly, the movement between, high and low on these bars, it tends to be about anywhere between $3 to $5. That's not a lot of movement over the course of 7 days. That's not a lot of movement. If we put it over a course of a month, obviously we've had some months that have been ridiculous, right? I mean, look at January. This is just insane. All right. But the last couple months, as the Fed has quote unquote had our back, you don't get really a lot of movement in this ticker. So that's where you can really trap in premium and place into your account. All right. And again, we're going to make videos highlighting all of this. Netflix chart seems ready to roll over. Well, it did today. It did today. It's going to be interesting to see how traders respond to Netflix. And by the way, this is a huge loss on Netflix, almost 11% today. And they haven't even lost the Friends and all that type of stuff. I mean, I can't believe the financial news is just making such a big deal about Netflix losing Friends. Nobody watches no show fucking Friends. Nobody watches that shit. Who watches Friends? Does somebody here watch Friends? Now, The Office, that's fun. That's funny as hell. But Friends, come on, man. Will CXX drop more? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But then again, this is why you want to look at a non-directional trading strategy, right? Because we're asking questions. And if you don't have answers, that's the best answer. Can we create a range that CSX would be in, right? Whether it be lower or a little bit higher, that we think, the stock could end up in for us to make money. All right. Here's the monthly chart. And one of the rules that I like to implement is using the 50 and 100 moving average. And you'll say, oh, Sal, what about your 25-10? Well, 25-10 is more on the daily, right? You can do it weekly as well, but that's more directional, right? Those are shorter time. Those are shorter moving averages that are more for a directional trade. If a stock breaks below on the daily chart, a 25 moving average, going lower, right? You want to be on a directional trade on that. That thing could be going straight down. Who knows for how long. All right. But when we're talking about non-directional trades, we want to see what the big picture is. So we need a lot of information, right? So that's why we would need an EMA at 50 and an EMA at 100, right? And that will tell us right there whether or not the stock is bullish. We just want to know if the stock is bullish. And as you can see, CSX, although it's sold off, and I'm going to put the Keltner channels because I'm going to show you how at certain parts of the Keltner channel, it can get oversold, and that's where you would, then place a cap, maybe, $10, $5, depending again on the implied volatility, at or above that high end on the channel. All right, so let's place that Keltner channel on there right now. All right, so as you can see here, this is a stock that loves to ride it, right? That loves to ride it. So we can see, looking at the Keltner channel here, you got, several months where the stock basically went nowhere. Then we eventually broke out. But it became very, very clear, right, knowing where the moving average is, that the stock was bullish, that this stock is definitely holding. Here's this, by the way, on the Keltner channel, the middle line is a 20 moving average. So you can tell it's very, very strong. All right. So this is not a stock you want to bet to the downside moving too much. All right. Now, I got to digest this information that came out today to get a better idea of where the stock could be headed. But is this a stock that you're going to go out and buy a condor that protects you at 54, at 56? Hell no, not at all. It's done a really good job of holding and finding support as low as 61. All right. So we again, this is the monthly chart. So we've got now, on a higher time frame, a visual cue of where support is. We can come in a little bit closer with a weekly, right? And here you go. Again, talking about that 5100. As you can see, it's used as support. Here's that 50, came in as support. Here's that 100, right? So identifying whether or not, A, is the stock bullish or bearish, where is support, where is breakout levels, right, on the chart. And then now we've got to find a trade that makes sense for us. We've got to find a trade that makes sense for us. After a day like this, it stops appropriately right there at the 50 moving average. Now, this could very well continue to go lower, but I'm not going to want to predict that this could drop below 65. Could. But here's what's great about, again, non-directional trading, is that even if it goes against us and it drops just below 65, depending on how much time we put on the options, we have enough time for it to bounce back. All right. Now, as you can see here on the weekly chart, it's actually showing slightly oversold on a weekly chart based on today's price action. So that's why you had a lot of guys dip buy this today, and it makes perfect sense for them to do that based on these indicators. Do I track SPY put call ratios? No, that has not. I looked into that about a year or two ago. There's no consistent strategy there. I mean, for example, if you look at Netflix put call ratios, because after the announcement, I looked at that on Black Box. Everybody was long. There were a ton of people buying calls. It was overwhelmingly heavy calls. So if you would have looked at that put call ratio and say, "Oh wow, I'm going," everybody's buying calls, so it's going to beat, and then sure, it disappointed. You lost. So no, I don't look at that at all. And no, at the end of the day, the chart's going to tell you everything. Everybody's ignoring the macro here. Just follow the price action. Right. So looking at the weekly, based on what happened today, all right, because I want to put a trade together here on CXX. We had literally 4 weeks. You had a whole month where the stock basically did nothing, and then this news came out. All right. You actually had a lot longer than that. I mean, the stock really, going back from February, was really within a trend between 74 and 80. So between $6, you really didn't have much action. And I have no doubt that if we were to plot that on a chart, that would clearly be within one standard deviation of its implied volatility. Again, if you don't understand what the hell I'm saying, you will soon. I'm going to create a video on it. All right, I'm really excited about what we're putting together here. All right, so let's see CXX. All right, I can't show you this on the screen here. I can't fit everything on this thing. But I'm looking now in the options for CXX. All right. I'm in the options table right now in Tasty Trade. And as you can see on the screen here, we're oversold at 75, at 70. All right. We've got a 100 moving average that's been supported at 65. We've got a breakout price at 80. All right. The likelihood of it breaking out is probably very, very rare here, right? It's probably very, very rare there. So that's probably not a place where we would want to buy any kind of protection after what happened today. All right. So where could we possibly find the stock at in a month after this news, or, let's say 2.5 weeks after this news has digested? I think it could very well get back to where it's at based on how bullish the overall market is. I don't see a problem with people buying it right back to where it is, or high 77, 78. I don't know. That's pretty good protection to buy, but I don't want to buy above 80. So let's put a trade together that's going to give us protection around 77, 78, and then protect our downside at, give or take 60, 65, well, 68, 69. All right. 68, 69. So, of course, as we know, and again, I'm going to make a video about this later, so just bear with me as I put the trade together and I identify a nice chart here, or a nice trade for us that won't cost us too much money. And I'm going to figure out how to turn those clicks off too, because that's going to get irritating after a while. 160 for 90, 75. Bear with me here. 60, 65. That one looks good. And when we're creating a trade, it's not just about how much credit we want to bring in, as much as what are our probabilities of success on the capital that we are expelling, right? On the capital that we are expelling. 75, 66 to 75. This one is close. Ah, gosh. But when you don't have a lot to work with, the odds aren't going to be very nice when you don't have a lot to work with. All right? When you don't have a lot of cash to work with, it's not going to be a pretty trade. I'm going to be honest with you. This is probably not going to be a very pretty trade, but it is what it is, because we've got to deal with the capital we have. All right. Just bear with me, guys, as I put this trade together here. And just trying to find a new one. And again, I did not review CXX. This is just a user in the chat room. I'm looking at what you guys are asking about, and I'm just going to 38 cents. 77. 77 is all right. 77 for 67. Somebody's saying this could go down a little. This could go down lower. It could. It could. Don't scare me now. Come on. Let me see here. We don't want. Boy, I wish these had more volume in it, but I like this one. God, boy, these calls just have no real meat. Oh, let's keep it. All right, guys, just give me 2 more minutes, man. I'm trying to find a good. It's just the call side has just been eviscerated today. So they're not giving no. There's like no premium on the call side The put side's got a ton of premium, right? I mean, well, what happened today? I mean, there's a ton of premium here at 71, 65, 68. But then up here for the protection, there's not a lot of meat on those. So let me go, I'll go up one more month. And that's another way to do this. So let's go up one more month. So instead of it being a 2-week, we'll buy a little bit more protection here. Let's spread this out a little bit more. How about that? 179 to make 71. God damn, this is not a lot of. Okay, I like this one. I like this. All right. Now this is a much better. This is a good look. Now, the way this sets up, I'm not, 350 to make. Let me see here. What's that? 142 divided by. And again, so that would take you. Let me see on how many days left in this one? 65 days. So it'll be 25-day hold. All right, so guys, this is how it works. On a 30-day option, to make 50%, you need to be in the trade for at least 13 days. On a 45-day option, right, or days to expiration, 45 days, you got to be in at 19%. At 60%, at 60 days, you'd have to be in the trade for 25 days to make 50% of max. And depending on where you are at the time, it could very well, either make sense for you to hold for max, but more than likely close the trade, because you could very well close this early if this bounces well enough. All right, so let me show you this. Let me show you this, and we'll plot this out. Okay. We'll plot this out. And I want to show another one here, which is basically playing the support. This is the support side of the trade. If we really think it's going to hit bottom, all right, this will be 75, 65. No, you're playing there a little tighter than this. All right, guys, I know I'm taking a long time with this. I don't mean to. All right. Y'all know it could take a little bit to do these things real quick. All right. So just bear with me here. 315 to make. Okay. So there are going to be two trades we're going to look at. All right, and I want to plot them all, and I'll leave the plot on the account to show where we are. All right. Yeah, I mean the daily chart just shows the capitulation right now. The daily chart shows the capitulation, so it's ripe for a bounce. It's ripe for a bounce. But I've been played out by something like this before. I mean, there was a ticker called XLNX where I played the bounce on here. I'm gonna go back to CX600. I played the bounce on here. Then the stock went sideways and then went lower. I'm like, what the fuck? So, you got to be careful, with these. You see the daily chart shows, eventually, as you can see here, it just now decided to come back from that earnings miss, which actually really wasn't that bad. But look how long it took. This was April. We're in July now. All right, we're in July now. So almost 3 months ago, It's so you can get burned by these, right? You can get burned by these. Obviously, CXX is much bigger company, right? This is a $65 billion company. This is a stock that's heavily weighted in the transportation index. So you can't compare it to that ticker I just showed you in terms of company comparison. But I want to show you what could happen. All right, what could happen? Obviously, the CXX has got some real value here to it. So I mean, this can never drop. Why? I don't know. Say never. Let's just leave it at that. All right. So let me show you the trade now. So here's the trade if you think that, again, you've only got $2,500, right? You only got $2,500. The idea is not, because some of you guys, you'll have $1,000 and you want to go in there with a $600. That's not how we do things, all right? So we want to stay in the game long term, so our trades are not very, very large, and we got to be conservative because we don't have a lot of money, all right? We got to be conservative because we don't have a lot of money until we have enough to actually start, becoming a little bit more risky with the trades. So some of you guys may look at it and say, well, this is kind of too conservative. I don't think so. So in this trade, we're saying that we're going to make 50% of max within 25 days if CXX is greater than $66, yet less than $78. So let's plot this on the chart. All right, I'm going to remove that while you guys are reading that. So 66.79 is right here, and 78.21 is right here. All right. So now let me remove that to show you. Booyah. So let me get rid of my indicators here. So this is where we're saying. So we're saying if CXX in this non-directional trading strategy stays between the bottom end of our condor and the top end of our condor, we're going to make max profit if we stay that long. All right. Now, if we're just seeking 50%, then we're going to be in this trade for 25 days, having that $350 for $358 working for us in the meantime. I like this trade. I really like this trade for 25 days. All right. Could this go lower? Yes, it could very well go lower. But we've got that support at the bottom based on what we're seeing on the monthly chart. All right. So based on the monthly chart again, all right. So we built in the protection. We built in the protection, and it has been protection before. All right. So we're looking at the big picture gives us an idea of where we could find that support, that bottom, if things continue to go low, where we could possibly bounce at, because that's really where we want to. That's where we really want to be. That's where we really want to be. And again, this is only one trade. This is only one trade, right? So again, if we hold the max, I don't want to wait 65 days. I want to be out of here in 25 days. So just give me the 50% and I'll roll that, right? Because that's why this strategy works really well, and I've been able to make myself unemployable. And by the way, Black Box hates it when I make videos like this because it's not really they don't do stuff like this. But if you want to win consistently, right? If you want to win consistently, this is actually the type of trading you need to be doing. Anyway, lost my train of thought. So that's just one trade, right? That's one trade. Now, we just made one trade for $358, and then we're going to make a successive amount of trades up to about, 60 to 70% of our account. So we should end up in a place where we have, at any one time, 7 to 10 trades, 7 to 10 trades at one time, right? 7 to trades at one time, leaving us a couple $100 to make adjustments. And when I say adjustments, because sometimes if it goes against you, we might have to buy a call to protect that downside, to protect that upside pressure, right? For example, if our Beyond Meat cracks 193, then I might want to go grab a 190 call because it's probably going to explode above that, right? And then that call acts as protection for our max loss, against our max loss. All right. Again, I'll make a video breaking all that down. All right. So as you can see, that's how this trade plays into it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that one. Let's look at one more trade now that is interesting that I pulled out. Now this is the bear case. All right, this is the bear case. So let me go ahead and plot. Oh, no, let me get rid of that line. All right. This is going to be red. So let's go back onto the daily. All right, but that's a good trade, man. That's a really good trade. All right, and again, only $400. Only $400. You got people who lose $400 in a day. Anyway, let's go back. All right, so here's a little more conservative. All right, a little more conservative. Probably could have gone even lower with that 71. All right. Probably going to go on a little lower, but a little less makes you a little bit more, but gives you, again, a little bit more downside protection. All right, so in this case, this is only one contract on each option. You're paying $315 to make $185. Again, do the math on the return value there. I mean, that's some good interest on your money. All right, we're talking about opening your own cash advance type of play. That's basically what we're doing here. These are cash advance numbers. Mr. Akbar in the ghetto who's exploiting those people with those advances. That's the kind of money we're talking about here. That's the kind of money we're talking about here. All right, 63. Here we are here. So 63.15. So that's us right there. That's on this trade. Again, just giving yourself a little bit more room. All right, to the downside. And then you're saying 71.85. So you're making the bear case in this scenario. All right, let's see the chart. All right. So that yellow line, I know I'm making a lot of lines here, but that yellow line was the first trade. The red line is the second trade. So the second trade, you're making a bear case. You're saying that CXS is just going straight down from here. But it's not going to be a rocket. All right? It's not going to be just, another day, another 10%. No, it's just going to go lower. Heck, it could go against us for a week. But eventually it's going to be lower than where it is now, and we're going to be in this range. All right? And whether or not you stay there for 25 days or max gain, that is where you're going to want to be for this trade, and that's where you're going to make your money over the course of the trade. All right, so let's look at that on the weekly. All right, let's look at that on the weekly. So here's the trade on the weekly. Here's the red line, all right, on the weekly. So it forces, of course, we break support, and we got to be in between the red lines to generate money on this trade. So we're not playing for the total breakdown of the stock, but you believe that the stock has broken down somewhat at all-time highs along, in the mirror for the stock. All right, let's look at the monthly. All right, here's the monthly. Again, the red trade is the second line. The two red lines are the second trade. All right. So in this scenario, again, you're betting that, regardless of interest rates coming at the end of the month, interest rate cuts, right, which could be as high as 50 basis points, you're betting that GDP numbers coming out on the 26th aren't as nice. And you're betting that CXX, although part of, the transportation index, part of a lot of different ETFs, right, which, again, plays into the idea. And by the way, they do have a buyback program as well. There's companies buying back stock, right? And again, these stock buyback programs are some of the reasons why the market as a whole is lifting, because these companies, for the most part, don't pay any taxes. They don't know what to invest in, so they're just buying back stock, right? So you are betting that all of that's not going to work. All of that's not going to work. He said, what happens when you can't get filled? Sometimes you don't get filled. It's not an immediate fill sometimes, Felix. Sometimes it's not an immediate fill sometimes. When you're doing some of these options on some of these plays, get it out your mind that it's going to be an immediate fill. Sometimes it can take an hour. If the trade takes an hour for you to fill, as long as you get what you wanted, right, and the trade goes your way, who cares? Who cares? All right. So I like the first trade. Second trade is a little bit more risky. Could very well happen. I'm going to keep those two lines on there because I want to see where this ends up. I'm very curious to see what this ends up. All right. But again, this is a company that gets a lot of money funneled into it, right? Again, it's in a part of a lot of ETFs. These ETFs rebalance. They've got to go out and buy more shares or sell more shares, and this could lead to this stock gaining value here. Is it going to get back to all-time highs? No. This number that they came out with showing that they're losing quite a bit of cash says it's not going to. But just in case, it gains $2 or $3 from here, then we want to be able to know that we're going to make money either way if it does that. All right? So that's where we want to be. I said if you do a standard, two standard deviation trade on INCAR, you can make a decent amount of money. Yeah, see, that's the thing, though. But you got to understand, life or business, you're right. You're right on that trade. Two standard deviation, though, and basically what he's talking about is that for a trade, all right, what goes into applied volatility, and he's talking about, man, this is, I don't want to break it down too much to confuse people, but one standard deviation is the average or the mean where most stocks are going to be within a certain period of time, all right? It's going to be, your one standard deviation. Two standard deviation, that's a very, very wide iron condor. It requires significantly more capital. Yes, your probability of success for max gain is higher, but you don't take in very much credit, even at 50% of max. Again, we still want to take in credit that's meaningful. And at the same time, we don't want to put up so much capital that if shit happens, right? Shit goes to hell. We don't want it to be a destructive loss. All right, we don't want it to be something that we can't make up with either depositing more money or by being more successful at our trading. All right, so I try to stick within, one standard deviation because again, we are looking for 50% of max gain. So we're trying to take in as much credit as possible, all right, use as much time as we can that's reasonable, but only stay in for as long as we need to. All right. So we'll keep that on there. We'll keep that on there. All right. None of us here are soothsayers. We don't know what the future looks like, and all we can do is make what we feel is our best educated guess. All right. When will Amazon do a stock split to decrease? It may never do that. If they wanted to do, they would have already did that. They would have done that years ago. You know, just like Google and, you know, some of these other, they would have done that years ago. All right. eBay is an alternative challenger to Amazon. Absolutely. Absolutely. eBay, 6% of all U.S. commerce, 6% of all U.S. commerce goes through eBay. Understand how big that is. 6% of all U.S. commerce goes through eBay. People really underestimate how big of a company eBay is. People just think it's just a website people sell their shit on. I mean, it's way bigger than that. There are millions of dollars made on eBay. Billions of dollars in transactions yearly. If you got some time on your hands, go read an eBay earnings report or a 10K. You'll learn how big that company is. Now, what else do we wanted to look at? Oh yeah, so. And by the way, if you thought Netflix earnings was bad, I can't wait till you see EA Sports. I think that's a company that's fundamentally broken. We've talked about EA, here for a while. I think the knife is slowly coming to EA. But you got to be, I got to talk to the gamers and see what they're doing here in terms of this, this Legends bullshit game or whatever they're playing. How successful it really is. Supposedly the Twitch numbers are really, really down on that game that they just created. And EA has really been creating a lot of resistance for itself at those higher price points. And it's putting itself quite at risk here for an upset. And again, let's look at these higher moving averages. All right. It's a higher time frame. Here's the monthly. You see EA really fighting to stay alive, right? Fighting to stay alive and not doing a really good job of it so far. Let's take a look at the weekly. All right. Already very, very bearish on the weekly. All right. And again, that RSI video where I talked about that 60 RSI being rejection, right? Being where stocks, when they are bearish, they have a hard time breaking above the 60 RSI. All right. They have a hard time breaking above the 60 RSI. Now, if you're going to do a trade like this, all right, that's very bearish, what you don't want to do is you don't want to have any downside protection, right? Because you really don't know how bad this can get. You really don't know how bad this can get, all right? This is a stock that isn't yet oversold. Clearly could end up coming in that way. But what we do know is that this isn't a stock that's going to be seeing all-time highs anytime soon. So we're not giving ourselves a lot of upside room, and you don't have to, based on what the long-term, the monthly and the weekly is telling you. All right, you don't have to give yourself too much. If it goes against you, great. Even on the short term, but you still want to, of course, win the trade. So let me just put something together here on EA that looks very interesting, and then we'll plot it on the chart. All right, and you tell me what you think. And looking at this stock today on EA, where I want to be is how those numbers, like those solid numbers, like the 90, like 100, like 110, like 120 can be so sentimental for a stock. And for EA, it could be really, really a game changer. And this is a stock that's going into earnings soon. So let's go ahead and buy, sell that. All right. And I want you to tell me what you think about this trade. And this will be a 2-week trade. This will be a 2-week trade because it's a 30-day option. The next option or the next earnings for EA is on the 30th. We actually don't want to hold into earnings, all right, because we do believe that earnings, could end up being very, very bad, but could end up being good and surprise us, right? We don't want to be surprised by EA. So let me show you the trade here. All right. So it might even come, some guys might even say come in a little bit closer. 91. Yeah, let's come in closer. I'm going to give you 2. EA. 1. All right. So I'm going to give you 2 trades just like the last one. And you're going to tell me what you think about these 2 in EA. All right. Let's plot it. So here is the first trade. All right. Here's the first trade. No protection to the downside. All right. No protection to the downside whatsoever in EA. We're spending 4. It's 4. Spending 4 to make this. I don't know, I'll look at it a little bit more. Maybe I kind of could come in a little tighter than that. 96 is maybe a little too high. Hold on. 96. All right. So the idea, well, let me see. It might not be too bad. Boy, having very little money make really doesn't improve the odds for you. But again, when you don't have a lot of cash, you just got to be, you just got to trade, take what they give you. You got to take what they give you. You got to take what they give you. All right. When you don't have a lot of cash. Let's take a look at here. Let me take a look at the daily. I want to see where it looks like on the daily. 96. God, it's got a lot of resistance. It's building up a lot of resistance up there. I want to keep this on because I see it's very unpopular with you guys, but I have a feeling this is actually going to win. And it's a very unpopular trade, and it doesn't look very pretty. But when you don't have a lot of money, you can't be too picky. You can't really be picky, man. You can come in a little bit closer, but you're still, that again, this is the first trade, right? That's the first trade. Let me put that back on here. All right. You're spending $397 to make 103. All right. You'll be in this for, 2 weeks. Some people may say this is just basically a scalp, but I mean, heck, you really don't have a choice. You got $2,500. All right, I'm talking to myself on this one. So this is where I'd want to be for 13 days. What is the likelihood over the next 13 days that EA, basically the day, I'm literally, if it's a morning, and I'll sell the day before. If it's a night, I'll sell the same day. I probably won't even go into that at actual earnings day. And I should plot what earnings is on the chart, but to make sure, of course, we want to check that too to make sure if the stock runs into earnings. I don't think it does, but that's something we want. But here's the weekly. Again, we've already created quite a bit of resistance at that level. Whoa, what's going on, David Lincoln? Yeah, I like it too. I like it too. Again, let's look at the weekly just to make sure. Again, we're creating some resistance there. We're creating some resistance there. All right, just above that 50 moving average on the monthly chart. All right. So either we're going to continue to go lower, and that's fine. Some guys may say, well, just go straight with directional. Well, no, because I can see here if you went with a directional $96 call or $96 put, you fucked yourself over the course. This is 4 months. This is a monthly chart. It's 4 months. Did nothing. Practically did nothing. All right. So you either want to make something or you don't want to make anything, or you want to lose money. All right. So we've broken support here on these last couple months, and I believe that that could mean a continuation of the stock, or it could bounce here on this line. But I'm not convinced yet to go out and buy like 85s or, do something like that. I'm not convinced it could be there yet. All right. Now, if you went and did that, though, it'd be very profitable for you. It could be very profitable for you. All right. Could be very profitable for you. All right. And here's that trade again. So let's see here. Here's EA. Is this EA? Is this the... Which one is this one? Oh, no. Here's 91. All right. Here's 91. So this would be... You believe the stock sells off aggressively. So you're at... Okay, we're going to have to come into the weekly. And I'll let you guys see it here in just a minute. So you're at 91. Oh, we're going to have to go in a daily. All right. So here's EA. Personally, I think this is too tight. I think this is too tight. All right. Too tight. I think you're asking for a bounce here on the daily chart. All right, because it gets to see here, at least on the daily, looking a little bit oversold here. Could come back and creep you. Now, could it very well break down? Possibly. Possibly. But I think you put up an extra, couple more dollars to get that upside protection and go with the first trade. All right. They go with the first trade. But here's 1 and 2. Here's 1 and 2. We'll see what happens. And again, I'll leave those trades up to you. Again, these are just trade ideas. All right. These are trading ideas for stocks on the market right now. Okay. Yes, indeed. So Ryan Gitsy said there's a lot of better trades for that much capital. Well, that's what we're doing. We're going through trades right now. All right. How do we know a good ticker for a nickels commodity? What do you mean by that? Let's take a look here. What about Boeing? Oh man, you had to X the high. Boeing is just, this stock is all over the place. I have no idea where Boeing is just, you've got so much legal things going on right now with Boeing. I have no idea. I mean, Boeing is just a mess right now in terms of there's news coming out all the time. That's a stock you don't want to be in. You want, if again, a non-directional, you want to be in, if you're going to be in something like this, again, you really can't have any protection on the other side, whatever trade or whatever side of the market you want to be biased of, because you just don't know. You just don't know. All right, so with this one, you're going to have to go straight vertical on that one. Obviously, let's look at the monthly. All right, very, very healthy. Let's see where we are on that higher moving average. Well, that's my 2510, but let's see. Okay, so still very, very bullish, at least on these higher terms. All right, we're losing a bit of steam here on the weekly. All right, so we're losing a bit of steam here on the weekly. As you can see here, you've got creating a lot of congestion here at the 368, 369 level. All right, so this is going back to, beginning of summer. You got a wall up there at about 388. All right, but at the same time, still doing its best to hold that 50 moving average. And as you can see here, we do have previous support at the 100 on the weekly. So that but almost $40 from where we are now. But 340s. Yeah, whatever you do, it'd probably be between 340 and 380. You'd have to decide where you'd want to be with that, between 340 and 380. But again, you've got so much news regarding this airplane. You're really putting yourself at risk. And plus, it's expensive, man. It's expensive. So you're going to be putting up quite a bit of capital. It's a $369 option. Those options are not going to be cheap. So you're putting up a lot of capital, to make maybe, not that much capital. To really lose a lot of capital if you don't get it right. You can make a lot of you can make some money on this one. Somebody bringing up Walmart. Yeah, Walmart is a good one. Walmart is a looker too. And again, Walmart, this is a really nice one because Walmart, what we just did in EA with a straight vertical, this is what you would actually do with Walmart. Walmart, you can go, and I've already looked at a Walmart trade for my personal account, and I posted that on Twitter. And let me see here. Do I still have that? Brief moment here. WMT. Well, Walmart does look good though, but really there's no necessary for a downside trade in Walmart. All right. But just looking at this, it actually does look really, really good. Okay, I didn't take it though. And what I was thinking about on Walmart, I don't have any of this yet on the web, but advancedequityresearch.com. But head to my ebook store, thetraderslibrary.com, and get yourself an ebook. Let me take a look. Walmart. So looking at a Walmart trade here, let me see what we would do. 1 second here. All right, why not? I mean, it's so bullish. I think actually you might give yourself some downside protection just because it's going to, it's going to keep going up. Boy, it could be. When is earnings for Walmart? August 15th. Oh, okay. So you actually got quite a bit of time. But boy, this is a mover. Look at that, man. Look at the weekly on this, because that's got, oh man, that's a monster move. All right. Obviously, the candlestick is still building out, and something like this, as you can see, you've been fooled before. I mean, this thing could go, but as you can see, when it gets up to there, boy, look at that move. Volatility. And I love watching how RSI reacts at oversold levels or overbought levels, because this stock was overbought, and RSI, right? And the put buyers got slaughtered here. They just got slaughtered here. But again, this is 3 months. This is almost 3 months here, from November to January. All right, from November to January, and we're talking about just $10. Just $10. All right, so here we are at 114, and obviously $10 would probably be maybe too generous to say it would do that in the environment we're in now. Again, never say never, but I still think it'd be maybe a bit too generous. So let's go out August 16th. All right, that's 30 days. Or August, can we go? Yeah, August 16th is fine. Let's go out to August 16th. How about let me see here, August 16th. Bear with me, I'm looking for a decent trade here. How about we sell 120 against 119? Against August. Yeah, let's see how that looks. Is that all we got is August? Okay. All right. All right, let's do that. Let's go to 120 against 115. God damn. And even Walmart doesn't even have the greatest, most liquid options, though. I'm actually kind of... Yeah, Walmart doesn't have very nice looking trades. Let me see here. Yeah, let's do August. Go back. 120 to 119. How about this? I like that. Hold on. To make 169, that's a little too tight. All right, almost done, guys. I want to show you guys this trade in Walmart. Ugh. See, the trade, I don't want to spend more than $400 in the trade. I really don't want to spend more than $300. You really don't want to use a lot of capital. And 116. God, 116 is still, I feel like 116 is not enough. I feel like 116 is not enough. Because even at oversold level, we look at previous, the week was 1, Here's 2. So even at previous oversold levels, we were moving about 2 to 3. And again, I would typically use Yahoo Finance for this. All right, you're looking between what previous moves were. All right, and I don't know what obviously the GDP number could have an effect on this stock. A slowing economy could hurt your downside protection. 106, 116 just sounds really tight. I have a real big problem with that 116. All right, for time's sake, I'm just going to post this. I'm going to show you this trade, but I got a problem with that 116 level. I'm not happy with that. I would like a little bit more on that. So I just think 116 is just too tight. God damn. 121 to 108. Actually, that to 108. That looks actually a bit better. $121 to 108. All right, I'll show both of them. I'm not a big fan of the 116. And then we'll look at a couple of you guys' ideas and get up out of here for the night, because I got a lot of videos to make in regards to what we're doing here. And a lot of you guys are going to, have ideas of what we're doing and, it doesn't look right. Just give it time. Give it time to develop, And I know I'm a brother. You're not going to give me the same benefit of the doubt. But let's see what it looks like over time, and then give me the accolades at the other side, okay? All right, so let's go ahead, put the trade together. All right, again, that's that 119 trade I looked at previously. All right, so let's go ahead, put WMT on there. So here is Walmart. We're using 306 to make 194. And I don't know why Tasty is giving me that the same day, but on some it's saying 29 and on some it's saying 30. I don't know what that's about. But we're buying the 120, selling the 115. We're selling on the put side the 105 to finance our cost of buying the 100 put. All right. I'm gonna plot it, but I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not the biggest fan because I think it's a bit tight. All right, but I'm gonna plot it because I want to see how it ends up. So here's the 116.95. All right, here's our 116.95, and then our downside protection is 103.06. All right, 103.06 is our downside protection. Where is that at? 103. I'm trying to get as close as possible. Bear with me. Oh, come on. Trading view, let's go. All right, so 103. There it is. So that's the idea for trade one. All right, I'm about to show you here on the screen. Okay, you're putting 306 to make 194. Thank you, Felix. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate you, bro. All right. So here is that trade. All right. And you make $194 on your $300 investment. All right, on a $300 investment, if you hold till max. Obviously, if you hold for 13 days, you make 50% on your money. All right. Again, just showing you how you can, get into this game with very, very little money. All right. So here's the trade: 116 to 103. See, that's Walmart. It's a bull, man. So the 116 just seems really tight. But you had a down day today. That could be, we hope, the beginning of some sideways action, or sideways and then down. You'd really love this if this loses, like, if you had took this trade today and this loses like $3 tomorrow, you'd already have, $45, maybe even $50 cleared for you to possibly even close it. I mean, just because at that point, well, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe at more at like 4 or 5 days in, like a week from now. If this sells down to 110, 111, you could probably go ahead and close for 50% gain, because at that point, when we talk about theta decay, right, at 30 days, but particularly at 2 weeks, those out of the money options really, really start to get painful for our traders who are holding those. That's why I've always, guys who are into these weekly options, they lose so much money, and they'll lie to you about how much money they're making on these weeklies. Most of them losing money. Because particularly with what's been happening over the last couple of days in the market, if you got some out of the money puts or out of the money calls, particularly calls, guys who are trying to go for those SPY 305s, 308s, it's SPY 300 above, you're a huge loser over the course of the last couple of days. All right. So let me plot the next trade here real quick. And again, we'll wrap the show up. I'm already been rambling. And then for every trade I'll make a video about it. And then, of course, throughout the show, we'll continue to talk about the market as a whole, and then just kind of check on our positions as they mature. All right. As they mature. And the goal, our first goal is just 1,000. All right. And we should be there, I'd say, give or take, what is it? We're in July. We should be there by, August, maybe late September, early November. But we'll put it together. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. All right, on a very safely, very securely, on a high probability basis. Every trade we're going to be doing, your probability of success is 85% or above. Every trade. All right. Here's the other option that I liked, 375 to make 125. You're giving yourself 121 on the top side and 108 at the bottom. All right. You're giving yourself 108 at the bottom. So here's 108.75. Oh, you better hope this don't pull back on you. All right. And then you're giving yourself, and I'm about to show you guys in a minute, 121. This might be a bit too generous. So our first trade is the yellow. Our second trade is the red line. All right. Again, we're above the 50. We're above the 100 moving average. So the stock is clearly bullish. We are, above the Keltner channel, showing that this stock is, I don't want to say overbought. It just means that it's in demand and it is bullish. It's confirmation of bullish action, because we do see here stocks riding that higher Keltner channel. All right. So what do you guys like? Trade 1 or 2? Again, 2 is the red. Trade 1 is the yellow. All right. For 14 days, on a $300 investment, I like trade 2. I like trade 2. I like trade 2. But that pullback could be something, but trade 2 is probably the way I'd go. 108. I don't know if it's could be a reality to see Walmart back on 108, particularly if we continue to see, the market trend sideways. All right, and again, Walmart doesn't have its earnings, I believe, until August. You said the red, yeah, I agree with you. All right, and again, this is a couple $100. And no more guessing about whether or not, because in a directional naked one-sided option, you better be going straight down. You could take a break, but it better not take too much of a break. But in this setup, whether it goes sideways, whether it goes up, or whether it goes down, hopefully not down too far, we still make money. And again, the highest probability, right, is at the 50% of max gain, right? Because max gain could be 65, right? Because technically 65% of max, midpoint is typically about 80% or higher. All right. If the trade says you've got a 60% chance or a 55 to 65% chance of max gain, that means the midpoint is well over 80%. And that's where we want to be. All right. And I mentioned earlier about having to adjust and things like that. That basically means if Walmart, something happened, right? Obviously, this is a stock of a publicly traded company. This is not an ETF. So we do put ourselves at risk of single stock risk here. The CEO, raped some girl in his office. All right, stock starts to sell off. We would then buy a put here. All right, and what that put does is that it offsets our losses from the option, from the condor. So it starts to mitigate, what we're losing here. So again, we put up $300, right? So now whatever is, coming from here straight down, it starts to take out of that. And you do it on either side, all right? All right, and that's how you can kind of save yourself when things go wrong. All right? Yes, indeed. All right, guys. Well, give me some stocks you guys are looking at, and then we'll wrap the show up. Again, the market is, we got some profit taking going on right now. No big deal. Nothing to get anybody scared about or anything like that. We just got a little bit of profit taking going on. I'm not going to jump in and say, we're going to hell or anything like that. We've been fooled way too many times already, and I've learned my lesson. Silver has been awesome. Yeah, silver has been really awesome. By the way, if you want to buy silver, SLV is the way to go on the equity side. It's been a monster play. It's so funny because I was looking at the silver chart here. That $15 option in SLV is, the money is just really rolling in here. Here is I think that's the 50, right? Yeah, that's the 50. That's actually, that was the 100 moving option on the weekly. Boy, woo, silver, what a beast. Man, coming out of the dead zone. Look at that. From oversold to overbought in a matter of what is that? 7 weeks? You know? 8? Boy, that's a monster. Now, gold had been making its moves. And silver and gold, they're not step for step. But silver had been behind gold, in a way that people were wondering what was going on with silver, And this catch-up is definitely a welcome boost to silver. All right. And we talked here before about why these commodities are running, and it's because when we cut interest rates, the value of the dollar goes lower, right? Trump wants a lower dollar because it spurs American business. It makes American products more valuable to international buyers, but it hurts Americans because Americans can't afford to do a lot, with their money, and it causes everything from inflation to housing instability. It has very, very dangerous effects on the personal level when the value of your money continues to, to lose, to go away. So if you are a wealthy investor, or not even somebody who's wealthy, just somebody who's just smart, and you're looking to hedge against the losing value of your fiat currency, you buy gold and silver. All right? You buy gold and silver. Obviously, it's always best to buy the physical, but if, it just doesn't fit for you, you can always buy it through a derivative, which is SLV, GLD, GDX. Well, that kind of goes into the miners and stuff like that. All right. But SLV and GLD give you the closest thing on paper to buying real gold and silver. All right. So it's a great place to be in. And if you think the trend is higher, right? If you think the new trend is higher for silver and gold, which I believe over time it is, all right? I believe over time it is, then, you go out and you either, sell some puts, right? You can sell the 15 here, give yourself, 45, 50 days, sell the 15 and, and hope that, by expiration that we're above that. In 45 days or 60 days, whatever it is that you want to put on that option, right? Commodities are not where I would want to put any kind of protection on the other side of the trade, just because these things are very, very, very sensitive. We've seen what GLD was there. We got a couple traders, that GLD 135.54. We thought about that on Monday's show, and I'm looking at that and I'm saying this thing is going to blow right past 135 any moment right now. So, looking at that trade, I'm already thinking that, wouldn't have been a great idea if we would have implemented that, because it's headed straight for us. And what a better trade would be to just sell some puts going on the other side. So we believe that gold is going to increase in value. So individuals who have 134 puts and 135 puts over the course of 30, 45, 60 days, they'll actually lose money. All right? They'll actually lose money, and we can put that money in our account. That actually would be a much better setup for commodities. All right? Rich Million, what do you mean $1 is 5,000 in profits? What stock are you talking about? XRX, Xerox. I don't even know what business Xerox is in anymore. Are they still doing call centers? Xerox, is a company that's kind of lost its way. and they got into what's called business support services. So they started running bullshit call centers in the hood, and I keep my ear to what's going on in a lot of the urban communities. So they went and partnered during the Obama administration because during the time of Obama, they had a black CEO, black female CEO, and you know how they do those, phony little job back to work job grants bullshit, and they got some grants to basically run uh, call centers in urban communities of a lot of poverty, getting these welfare moms and people who are on those public assistance programs to work in these call centers for Xerox. And in exchange, Xerox, of course, would get contracts from companies that needed their services, whether it be Sprint or some of the other phone companies. All right. So I don't know what business they're in now. Here's Xerox. All right, still looking pretty healthy, at least on the daily. Again, pull up the 25 would be a better option to do there. But here's the weekly on Xerox. Again, don't know too much about the business where they're at now. But as you can see here, been a nice chart since the end of November. All right, this has been a nice chart since the end of November. Per dollar moving profits. Oh, silver futures? Okay. Silver futures. Yeah, I mean, look, the futures market gives you a lot of leverage there, and if it works out for you, and you can make quite a bit of money on that. The only thing about betting futures on commodities is that you need to start learning about how many of these central banks affect the price of these commodities by dumping the commodity when they fit, fit when they fit. All right, so you'll see blatant manipulation of the commodity, and there's tons of articles written on that, on how central banks affect the price of gold and silver and many other commodities. I know at the beginning of the year, what was a great play was palladium. GDX, GDXJ, those are all huge winners right now. Huge winners right now. All right. Those are all huge winners right now. And and the long-term setup looks really healthy for them. And when you look at what gold and silver is doing, you got to feel sorry for the Bitcoin traders who are out here, basically, taking massive amounts of risk, and it's just, they can't get any type of consistency. I don't know how people trade Bitcoin. I mean, just that, 1,000, up 1,000, down 2,000, up 3,000. These guys hit 90. They almost hit 9,100 today. It almost hit 9,100 today on Bitcoin. It was close. And this is not looking good, man. This is not looking good for Bitcoin. You're creating a lot of resistance for yourself here. You're creating a lot of resistance for yourself here. And shout out to Peter Schiff. He's got the challenge. They're calling it the Golden Debate. Peter Schiff versus some clown who pumps Bitcoin all day on Twitter. And it's going to be this month. July 26th is going to be live, and this guy's going to get killed by Peter Schiff. I don't know. I mean, you guys know who it is. You can look it up on Peter Schiff's Twitter account. He's agreed to the debate. Peter Schiff is going to destroy that guy. I don't know what these Bitcoin people think they're doing. You know, get yourself something tangible. All right. Goldman Sachs. Here's Goldman Sachs. Okay, here's Goldman Sachs fighting to stay alive here above that 50. Here's the weekly. Fighting to stay alive here on Goldman Sachs. They need a good, but banks have sucked. I don't know when their earnings is. I wouldn't want to touch it until you see the next earnings report on Goldman Sachs. Bank of America actually did pretty good numbers today on Bank of America. Here's Goldman Sachs. I don't know what I was doing here. I think I was looking at it for a little bit, but now we're back above the 50. All right, trying to go positive here. All right, this is the weekly chart. So as you can see here, definitely Fed cut conversation basically started around the beginning of June, right? With that expectation at first that we were going to have one in June. Sure enough, it didn't come. Now we're supposed to have one in July. I think we'll probably get one in July. Now it's all about seeing how aggressive it's going to be. And these financials could run for a short period of time. It could very well run for a short period of time. As I said on the last show, we could see 2 more years of gains in the market. We could see 2 more years of this. We might not see a recession until 2021. Until 2021. Now, with that being said, if you're in silver, like Rich Million or 2021, you're going to be crazy to think that we're going to be at $15 silver in 2 years. We're going to be a lot higher than that. We're going to be a lot higher than that. All right? We're going to be a lot higher than that. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that kind of, capital to put in the future like that. But as you can see, most charts will show you that, if you've been a long-term holder of commodities, it's actually worked out, really, really good for you. All right. Last stand, the Libra and the government. Well, the government is afraid of the government is afraid of Libra. I don't think they're afraid of Bitcoin, but they're afraid of Libra because Facebook actually has got a lot of people using it, and it's got a lot of people in other countries using it, and in other countries that are very dependent on the U.S. dollar. You see what I mean? And America's been able to get away with its fractional reserve lending system and being the world's reserve currency because we've all that paper out there that gets sent abroad never comes back. It never comes back to the U.S. For the most part, it stays overseas. So even a dent of 1% or 2% of individuals in other countries who say, I like this Libra shit, that could have some really harmful effects on the U.S. dollar. That's why they're so upset about the fact that Facebook doesn't want to use the U.S. dollar to back the Libra. All right. So the government is afraid, man. The government is afraid. This Libra thing is dangerous for people who have made a bet that America is and will always be a reserve currency, and nothing will be greater, nothing will be worth more, and they're really, really afraid of this thing. You got to look at the bigger picture of what Libra really is. I mean, you could have 100 million people. All right, you could have 100 million people using this currency, who aren't using the dollar, or I mean, that's scary. If you're a bank, if you're a financial institution, FDX. Yeah, we talked about this last week. Again, this is a very nice trade here. You see your downside protection is very, very clear here. All right. It's a stock that's trying to kind of get back on its feet. RSI remains low. Again, remember, stocks that are bearish do not break the 60 RSI. All right, so the 60 RSI or a rejection of the 60 RSI tends to be really, really great opportunities to short the stock. All right. So really good deal here. Really good deal here in FedEx for an opportunity for somebody to go in here and get themselves, maybe sell some puts here, maybe lock themselves here on a trade between, 155 and maybe 175. All right. The volatility on FedEx isn't that much. And again, this is a weekly chart. This is a weekly chart. Not bad. FedEx oversold here. All right. $165 stock. So they get, again, it's not a trade that I would do on a small account just because it's pretty expensive. Again, when you have a small account, you want to focus on tickers between 50 and about 50 and about 100. Between 50 and 100, maybe 150, but then, again, those options could start getting at about the $4 or $5 range. That's when it starts getting really expensive. And now you're looking at about, on a $2,500 challenge, you're looking at one option being $600-700. That's too much risk. That's way too much risk. We want to really be at around $350, making, anywhere between 50 to 110 on our return, because that way we can then reinvest that and grow the account. All right? Because that's really, really it's fun about getting that, high probability 50% of max to reinvest to make more. All right, so we gotta get to that 1,000, and then from that 1,000 we can look at $400, $500 trades. Then we can look at $600-700 trades, and then that way we can then grow our midpoint. We can then grow our midpoint. But we're gonna do it right in front of your eyes. Done this multiple times for multiple people. So appreciate you, SEC Trader. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to go back to posting gains on Instagram and stuff like that. Because when I was posting gains, and oh my God, all you do is post pictures of your profits. Why don't you show us how you actually do it? Okay, all right. If Facebook can legally launch Libra, they will immediately break up Facebook using antitrust laws. Oh yeah. Absolutely, man. I mean, Facebook is a scary company for a lot of people, man, because the information travels way too fast for a lot of people, But, it's clear to see that government is behind because they're on Facebook, but most people are off Facebook. And they're on Instagram now. Twitter is moving, you know what I mean? So they're still on Facebook. Oh, Facebook is for like older people now. To you, Facebook is one big data center? Absolutely. It's a lot of information. And I always said, again, that whole privacy conversation is all bullshit. What? The Facebook privacy, my Facebook privacy. You're not putting your fucking social security number on Facebook. All the information that Facebook has, you gave it to them. You signed up and you gave it to them. You agreed to the terms of service. That's why government sometimes in America is just, I just feel like we're just such babies sometimes, man. What the fuck are you complaining about? Somebody mentioned Sprint. Yeah, that's boring as hell. There's such thing as cheap options, and then there's just junk. I mean, Sprint is just junk, Another ticker that's junk you don't want to mess around with. USO is very liquid, but I really like XOP better. USO is really liquid, but XOP is better. If you want to play crude, XOP is a lot better. And this is a ticker I'm looking at right now. And there's no doubt I'll probably be making a crude purchase in the small account. Not so much right now. I wouldn't even want to see what this week ends up looking like. But crude is a great way to play non-directional, because it's very, very stable in terms. You're really going to get this. As you can see, you don't have too much of that recently anyway. I mean, I can see here, 2015, 2016 was a disaster. But for the most part, you're not going to get. Good Lord, I gotta read what happened. What happened? I gotta read what happened here. What's this, October? I know what happened in October, obviously with the market, but why did it drag crude down $20? We're gonna have to do some more research on that. Look into hash graph. Yeah, I'll look into it. What makes them junk? Well, my problem with USO is that sometimes is so cheap. Cheap. The problem with cheap options is that they force you to buy a lot, and when you buy a lot, your slippage or the cost of trading eats way too much into your profits. So, for example, you're looking at USO for a condor trade, or even a put vertical, or a call vertical, whatever it is. Now you're at 15 to 20 to 25 on each side. Your slippage minus the cost of your trade, now it's like, damn, is it even worth trading? Is it even worth trading at this point, particularly if you have a small account? It might not be worth it for you. So that's why, you don't want to go into something that's too cheap. Single digits, low single digits. Dealing with 10 cent, 15 cent options where you got to buy 20 or 30 at a time, and now you're spending $35 to $40 just on the transaction. And again, you're only making 50% of max gain. So at 50% of max gain, your profit is going to be maybe $75, maybe $80. So you technically only made $30 on that trade. And you waited $25, 25 days, 13 days to make $25. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of money. So that's why you stay away from lower priced options when you have a small account. The best way is to you want to be, again, 50 to about 110, 1 to 2, maybe 3 contracts. Yeah. When people in the chat say that it's not good use of capital to sell that EA call spread, do you know what the return? Absolutely. Again, man, we're looking for, we're Ichiro, man. We're Ichiro. We want to get guys on. We want to bat singles, man. We want to get on base. There's plenty of time. Most of you guys watching this are under the age of 65. There's plenty of time to go out there and hit home runs. I want this $2,500 challenge to be, a lot more. 25,000, whatever it is. And in order for us to do that, we've got to be conservative starting out, and we've got to hit base singles. So every trade is not going to look pretty. It's not going to look like it's it's worth it, but every dollar counts when you have less than $25,000 in your account. You gotta, Warren Buffett talks about it all the time. You cannot afford to risk to lose money. You just can't, man. You just can't. All right. Still looking at what the first trade would likely be. Looking at what the first trade would likely be on the account. Thought about, a lot of candidates, but, XLF is looking like maybe could be a possibility. XLF is a ticker that, very, very comfortable with, how this is trading and the effects that this cut is going to have on XLF. Very low implied volatility. All right, so we can be very comfortable about where this stock would probably be in terms of a range. Yeah, man. We up kind of late today. Like I said, man, I'm gonna show people how to make that monthly paycheck. Once you at 7,500 you'll make 2,000 a month. At 9,500 you can make 3,000 a month. At about 25,000 you can make, at about 25,000 you can make about anywhere between $7,000 to $9,000 a month on 25,000. Well, let me not say a month. Every 7,000 to 9,000 every 2 months. Let's say 2 months. Let's not make it crazy. Every 2 months, because some options are going to be 60 days. Let's say 2 months. All right. Let's say 2 months. Yeah. Is this option strictly for options? Yeah, man. This is only going to be all options. I'm not going to be doing any black box trades in this account. I'm not going to be doing any naked trades in this account. Every trade on this account will be a non-directional trade. It's either going to be an iron condor, a calendar spread, or vertical. That's it. Just non-directional, or maybe a straddle. Not a fan of them, but maybe a straddle. They take quite a bit of capital. But and again, you'll understand what all of those are as we go through the challenge. And again, every trade will be posted here on YouTube. And it's something to spice up the account, man. Spice up the channel and just do something different. Check out the compound interest site you posted. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll definitely do that. Absolutely. And that's how we win in non-directional trading, is the compounding. Just like David Lincoln said, that 25% in 2 weeks, again, 25% in 2 weeks over the course of a year, 2 years, 5 years, let me even give you at a 75% probability. I'll even lower it for you. Do the math on that. That's a nice amount. Now you're gonna have to be disciplined. You're gonna have to stick to your rules. There's gonna be a lot of shit that's running that you can't buy because it's not gonna fit your rules. But it is what it is. All right. It's pretty nice options that are making money right now. OSTK. This is a really interesting one because this one is moving on Bitcoin. All right. This one is moving on Bitcoin because they came out with a damn Bitcoin wallet. They came out with a damn Bitcoin wallet, and now it's got this options looking all nice and meaty. 6% move today alone. We're starting to see the stock get a bit tired here. Here's the daily chart. But it's a stock that was very, very beat up for a long time. And maybe sentiment is changing. All right, maybe sentiment is changing on the stock. Here's OSTK. All right, looking to come out of that really bearish range that it's been in for a long time here. Kind of ran into that 100 moving average and hit a brick wall there. But again, here's that 60 RSIs having a little trouble with it. All right, it was 50, rejected at 50, rejected at 50. Here's the rejection at 60. All right, but here we're at 60-yard side, so it's either going to break above or come right back down. Let's see what it's going to do on OSTK. But this is another option where the stock is relatively well priced. The options look quite meaty. And this could be a very interesting setup. The money has already been deposited on Monday. The money was deposited on Monday. And no, not Nigerian. I'm not Nigerian. No, I'm not Nigerian. The money was deposited on Monday. And it should clear Friday. I should have done the whole wire transfer, but I forgot my password online, and I didn't feel like going to the bank. So whatever. So I just did an ACH. It'll clear on Friday. Probably not going to do a trade on Friday, depending. We'll see what it looks like. Even if it clears Friday morning, because the Trump administration uses Friday as a way to kind of release news that they want to talk about during the weekend, and then they surprise you with something on Sunday night to lead us into a gap up on Monday morning. So I don't like putting in trades on Friday. Now, Monday afternoon, those are that's a great time to set up a trade. Tuesday, great time to set up a trade. And then you give yourself, again, the space and distance on either side that whatever happens during the course of the 2 weeks, it's absorbed. USRM, taking me back into the OTC land, huh? 23%. Okay. God damn. See how I'm saying? These penny plays, man. 00096. Okay. Yeah, nice little move on that. Here's the weekly chart. As you can see here, real beat up on the weekly. But, man, that's what I'm talking about, man. I mean, God damn, man. This thing you're just being crushed. They made shit. Yeah, but nice move today, though. Let's look at the daily. I'm sure the daily's got something else going on for it. Well. Yeah. I mean, you had a couple hundred decent buys in it. They say all bad news comes out on Friday night. Yeah, bad news or just news they don't want to talk about or news they do want to talk about. They'll go into the weekend talk shows with it. And then Sunday night is really bad for China news. They love putting out that Mnuchin is going to China or China trade is almost done. They love that on Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon when the futures market opens up and it's down like 6-7 points. Oh, they love putting out that release Mnuchin in China and some bullshit. And next thing you know, we're opening up Monday morning, up 4, 5, 6, 7 points on that bullshit. If Mark Zuckerberg did have his Libra, he could probably rig the Forex market, throttle up and down the U.S. dollar. He has powerful enemies in the Fed now. Yeah, man. Mark Zuckerberg has had powerful, enemies ever since the 2016 election, man. That's why the Democrats are afraid of that guy, man, because he's non-political. You know what I mean? He hasn't really put out a side of what he believes. I mean, you don't even know what Mark Zuckerberg believes in. He's scary to a lot of people, man. You're like, damn, does this guy pray? Does he even believe in God? Does he even care about politics? Well, what does he want? He's scary to a lot of people because he hasn't put a lot of his beliefs out there. All you see is this, slightly red-haired guy who wears sweatshirts, and that's really all you know about him. You're saying the chicken and beer, man. Well, shit, y'all kept giving me strikes. You see, now I stopped doing that chicken and beer stuff. I don't get no strikes no more, man. I don't get any strikes anymore. I made a strong percent of APRN piggybacking on their Beyond Meat deal. That Beyond Meat deal was hilarious because uh, the business is still fundamentally fraud. That's why the stock hasn't gone anywhere. The business itself is still fundamentally flawed, man. They're still spending $10 for every $1 they get in sales. Blue Apron is a joke, and again, I wish I was in options, years ago, because this if I understood what I knew now, if I would have just taken some time to read some books, I would have been able to see this coming. This was just another unicorn that had to go public because they couldn't raise any more capital because people were just like, okay, you guys are losing too much money. And I would have easily been able to see this, developing. But this is Blue Apron on the monthly chart. The stock's a joke, man. But shout out to you making some money on that deal. And it really goes to reiterate how the market is very much driven by human emotion, instead of sometimes just common sense. But Blue Apron itself is a joke, man. It's a joke of a business. And the only reason they still survive today is because they can borrow money at dumb, stupid low rates to keep them in business. You got a lot of companies doing that right now. Netflix does that. Amazon does that. Square does that. Fiverr, Shopify. I mean, these are all companies. Grubhub. These are all companies that are, Wayfair. Wayfair is all that. Wayfair is actually, like, if Wayfair had filed for bankruptcy today, they'd be insolvent based on their current balance sheet. They'd be basically insolvent. The market don't give a fuck. These folks don't care. So that would be Beyond Meat in a couple of years. Well, they just need some competition. That's the only thing. That's what's causing Beyond Meat. Let's look at another, similar business that is, I don't want to call it Beyond Meat, but it's a legacy business that's riding high on the trend right now that Jim Cramer talked about today, which was Sam Adams Beer. Sam Adams Beer, they were pretty good, for a while there, and they started losing money. They got into their craft beer thing where now they got all kind of, silly flavors and shit like that. And now they're running high on that. And, this is a stock now that's at, ridiculous levels. Trading at 44 times earnings for a beer company. Based on like lemon flavored this and coffee flavor, wild berry flavor. I mean, all kind of stuff that just, it's kind of ridiculous. Ryan gives us at 160 to 955. Yeah. That's Blue Apron, man. Absolutely. That's Blue Apron. That's, GoPro. There's GoPro. And GoPro, not only got killed by Chinese competition, but the fact that cell phones just got better. When GoPro was hot, this is 2014, 2015. What you had then, the Galaxy, S5, S6. It wasn't doing no 4K at the time. GoPro was doing 4K. Right? They had the little GoPro Hero and GoPro Hero 2, GoPro Black. I was doing the, 4K. And then, of course, by 2015, 2016, cameras started getting a little bit better. The iPhone became the standard, really, of social media and picture and photography. People started making movies with iPhones. iPhones started doing 1080p and 4K at a quality that was actually respectable, and GoPro goes to shit. I can't believe so y'all are still up. Well, shout out to all the people who are still up. I have a feeling most of you guys are on the West Coast. That's why you're still up rocking with me. Shout out to all you guys still rocking with me. We'll wrap it up here in a bit. What do I think about buying gold right now, man? Just know you're buying it at a price that's a bit at a premium on the daily. Here's gold, and we already set up some. I'll go ahead and remove those because we haven't set up. Ah, crap. Ah, shit. I should have removed the drawing tools, not the damn. Got rid of my damn RSI. All right. Let me just set that up real quick. All right. My RSI got to be white. I don't need no lower band. Upper band got to be 50. No background. And it's got to be thick. There we go. All right, so, damn. My bad, guys. Clicking too damn fast. All right. We're talking about options today on non-directional, so we're going to, again, it's got to be a little bit further out. The red be 50. All right. Red. Nick. And they should already have this preset. All right. And then one more. Keltner channel. No, standard rate is just fine on that one. So again, somebody was talking about gold. Casey Neistat made GoPro cool. Yeah, that too. That too. Oh, we got some East Coast people in there. Okay, shout out to the East Coast people. Yeah, so you're buying it at a premium, man. You're buying it at a premium on the monthly chart. Weekly chart's even higher, right? So, if you're buying gold here, you're buying it at a price that could very well come down. So if I'm you, I'm saying wait just a little bit. You know, I know it feels like gold is going against you. I know it feels like gold is going against you, but just be a little bit patient. Again, even if it hits just the top line, right? If it comes back to, you know, if we go sideways a little bit, you know, let it go sideways a little bit or something like that. But I just feel like, you know, if you go in there now, especially if you just go with a straight naked call option, you could be getting burned a little bit. All right. Because I'm telling you, when this interest rate drops, you're going to get a move higher in the market. You know, that's going to be a nice little boom for the market to send us to another higher level. And gold will respond to that. And in the short term, it might be negative. It might be negative. All right. And if you were long gold now, going into that announcement, you know, it might not work out so well for you. You know, you might want to see where we are in August, you know, after this rate cut, and then decide from there, because then the damage has been done, right? The damage has been done for the rest of the year, and that's probably the only cut we're going to get for the rest of the year. And then you can be more confident about gold and its direction. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Nugget's a good one too. I forgot about NUGT. Yeah, I forgot about Nugget. Nugget's another good one too, man. This is a But again, this is not pure gold. It's the miners. All right. And then you got the junior miners, which is JNUG. All right. All right. And this goes to those ETFs that we talked about that are leveraged. You know, those are like playing with fire, but when they're going in the right way, as you can see here, they can do really, really well. All right. So again, I'm gonna wrap the show up here, man. I'm really excited about this little challenge. I think it's gonna be really fun. We'll always talk about the tickers you guys want to talk about, but at least it'll be something I'll have to discuss while we figure out what the hell this market wants to do. Because again, at all-time highs, it gets boring, man. It gets really boring, and I remember just like 2018. Late 2018, late 2017, when you're just kind of, I had the show, you're just kind of going up, 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 up. Is, you can't really discuss shit, nothing really to kind of talk about. Everything is just like, okay, this is going to be like perfect every day. So you're going to have something else to really kind of keep you engaged. So this is going to be a nice little addition to the show. All right, and you can, of course, always follow along and learn a little bit more about non-directional trading. And, of course, whatever you learn, bring it to the show, man. We can always learn something. We can always learn from you. All right? Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It still got my... now through my cousins, we're doing a little thing where he's trying to do something where we get cell phones or use cell phones and send them to Africa. And he's trying to put it into a whole, what do you call it, where people donate to you and they can actually get a tax cut on it. And he's trying to put together this little hustle. But anyways, the cell phones will go to women who are looking to start up small businesses. And, one of the biggest costs for them is just getting a phone. A lot of these women don't even have the ability to get phones. I mean, you go to some of these African countries and they still got those little Nokia 355s. I mean, they're, that are so old. But a lot of people have a lot of little old 4G phones laying around. So if we can offer people a tax deduction, or particular companies, offer companies who buy cell phones for their employees, whether it be executives or whatnot, a tax deduction to provide this organization the phone so we can just give them to women in Africa, man, it could be a little hustle for him. So he's trying to put that together, anything to give back. Oh, yeah, I visited the poorest country, well, one of them, the Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo. That was fun. It's on my Instagram. I posted some pictures of that. Shout out to Black Box Stocks, man. That website put me on and got me to go over there. They didn't pay me to go over there. It's just that the money that the system generated for me was able to pay for that trip. And it actually wasn't that expensive, Africa, for the most part, is very, very cheap. It's very, very cheap. The hard part is, going over there and not trying to smash no chicks. Yeah, 5013C, because you don't want to catch AIDS or anything. But everybody, all the girls there just have these huge-ass butts, right? And, like, huge-ass tits. And, it's just, you're right in the you're really nearest to the heart of all humanity, right? So yeah, you got these women who are walking around looking like literal Venus, figurines, right? So, but you got to understand that there's like Ebola down there and shit, and there's all kind of like, but so you just got to stay focused on what you're there to do. And we helped out a lot of little organizations. It was like a little church thing. We went and helped out that thing, and these, there were some other people there from like Finland and Belgium. So, You'd be surprised how many other people are like, trying to do things and get things popping out there. So it's an experience, man. So for those of you guys who haven't traveled outside the country, go do it, man. Go do it. I've been to Ghana, Congo, South Africa, Belgium, France. Yeah, that's and I don't consider the DR out of the country, but yeah, the DR too. But I really, I really want to go to Venezuela. I really would love to go to Venezuela, man. But they've made it so hard to go down there now. Cuba too. I would love to visit Cuba. Yeah, the DRC, the DRC. I'd love to go down to Cuba. Cuba sounds so exciting to me, just the history behind that country. I'd love to visit Russia. Russia is a good one too as well. I'd love to visit. That I might have to go there with protection because I heard them, them Russians be on that racist shit sometimes. But yeah, I'd love Asia as well. Shout out to Tim Sykes. He's basically hiding out in Asia now. I don't know if he's back in the country. So I haven't watched any of his shit lately. But after his girl broke up with him, or he broke up with her, I don't know what. He's been hiding out in the Philippines now, building schools, and he's smashing mad honeys out there. Because that's what them dudes all go to Asia to do. And they always pretend like, yeah, we're just here in Asia to help the people. And, man, shut up. You out there smashing hoes, man. Stop playing. So, yeah, East Asia, I'd love to visit, Singapore, Philippines, in due time. I don't feel any rush to go there. I'm kind of one of those people, too, like, if I have the money to do it, I get more joy of knowing I have the money to do it than sometimes actually doing it. That feels really good for me. I told you guys already when I thought like driving a Ferrari or actual Lamborghini was going to be the best thing ever. And then I went down here to Charlotte Motorsports and I rented a Lamborghini, and it's the most empty feeling in the world. All right, I gave this guy my the deposit plus the cost of the rent, which was like $490 something or whatever it was for the day. I'm like, God damn, did I really just give this guy like $500 just to rent this bullshit? And you go around and yeah, people are looking at you, but it's like, it's still like, okay, the car is hard to get in, it's hard to get out. You drive fast and everybody, it's still like, I don't know, man. It was so overrated. The whole experience was so overrated. It was so overrated, And yeah, the honeys were looking at you, girls are looking at you and all that, but they don't even want to talk to you because they think you're like some kind of big baller. So they actually like afraid to come say anything. You know what I mean? So, and it's an empty feeling. It's really an empty. Yeah. At the end, absolutely, man. Renting a Lamborghini was probably the biggest waste of money. One of the biggest waste of money. I'll never rent again. Exotic car again. He said Philippines is crazy. Oh, I bet. My thing is I don't want to run into any lady boys or anything like that, man. Because I'd be reading trips. In high school, I used to be big on chat rooms and shit like that, those IRC rooms. And I would read reports of guys, because guys would write what are called country reports. And it's basically when a guy goes to a country for, anywhere between 14 to 30 days or more, and he writes a report on the country, right? Where to smash girls, where all the hot girls are at, what streets to find hot girls. And that's basically what the report is about. So, there'd be a ton of these report sites at the time, and I think they still are. And, you would just read the reports, and all of them were like, yeah, man, you got to be careful of the lady boys. They look so good, and blah, blah, blah. You know, absolutely. Oh yeah, I remember all those, man. I used to be, dude, in high school, I was all into that shit. All of that. Yahoo chat, well, not Yahoo, AOL chat rooms, all that, man. I used to have I used to have this girl on AOL that I used to chat in Iceland, bro. She used to just send me picture of her boobs and shit. I don't know what it is. This is years ago. This is almost 20 years ago now. But and of course, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come and visit you. You ain't got no fucking money. You ain't got no fucking money. But you're talking on AOL chat and stuff like that, getting each other off on the chat. It's hilarious, man. Those were the days, though. Remember that $500 I donated to a girl? Man, what? I've donated money to a lot of women, bro. That man, I'm much better at it now. I'm much better at it now. But when I started making money trading, I was too much of a trick, man. I was too much of a trick, and I used to talk about it a lot more on the show. Again, that's why guys they miss that my chicken and beer show so much because I used to just talk about during the show when I should be giving you guys information. That's why I think I'm giving better quality information now than I used to, because all my old episodes were just basically about how I was tricking all the time. You know, so oh yeah, man, I had uh, like 5 or 6 girls at any one time that I was giving like money to and just to come over and you know what I mean, blow their back out and stuff and just send them on their way. Yeah, Puerto Rican chick. Yeah, the Puerto Rican. Her name is Leticia. Her name was Leticia. I still follow her on Facebook. She's all right. She's still doing her thing, taking care of her kids. Pretty girl, pretty girl. But I mean, like I said, man, she, she's I don't know, but she's got 2 Dominican kids. You know what I mean? She's really big, and like most Spanish people, she's big on her family. It just wasn't going to fit like in terms of a long-term thing. You know what I mean? She speaks Spanish, and she really loves her culture, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But you just got to be honest about uh, where are we going in terms of like each other. So it just got to a point where it's just like I'm just basically smashing this girl, which is cool. I mean, while you're doing it, but it's like not going anywhere. Why am I wasting my time? And wasting my money. But she's got some big fucking tits, dude. Huge tits. And sometimes I get the urge to want to call her, but I just got to remember, the big picture. You know. Yeah, yeah, AOL chat was the shit back in the day, man. AOL chat was the day. Was the shit. Absolutely. All right. Liberia is another country I want to travel to too. I actually was thinking about making that one my next one, just because I've been seeing some really cheap flights headed there from the UK. Because US to the UK is relatively cheap, but UK to Liberia is pretty not bad too. Yeah, man, money over honeys, man. Money over honeys, because the women, I realize now the women aren't going anywhere. And the hot girl that you were lusting over 10 years ago, over time, she's more available now than she was back then. Girls who I like, you know, could never get their attention because my money wasn't right or something. Now they're available, and now it's like, damn, this, it's whatever, it's whatever now. It's whatever now, you know. The only thing I miss, the only thing I miss is the fact that now in my 30s, it's like I like girls who are like early 20s, like 21, 22, and now I'm starting to feel a bit of a generational not divide, but you can tell where there is an age difference. And I didn't feel that like 5 years ago. But now when I talk to a girl who's like 21, 22, it's like, damn, I'm not old to her, but I'm old to her. I didn't feel that 5 years ago. So now it's almost, I wouldn't say forced me to change just yet, because I'm still focused on that age group a lot of times. But now, you're dealing with a girl who's a little bit older, like I don't really like women over 30. Nah, I just can't do it, man. Women over 30 are so jaded and angry and I just don't. I just stay away from them, man. Women over 30, forget it. I'm not even gonna mess with them just because they either want to get married in the next 6 months, or they want to constantly ask, where's this going? And like, what do you mean, where's this going? You don't have anything to offer me. What are you asking me, where is this going? What are you talking about? You don't have anything to offer me. You got a bullshit job at some company that's losing money. You don't even know they're losing money. And your ass is about to get fired for some software that's going to replace you. What are you asking me right now? What's my Instagram? Oh, it's Got Penny Stocks. GOT Penny Stocks. And that's a whole nother thing too. I need to change all of that shit, but I wanted to give it some time because people think I'm ADD about that. But I had just been unable to figure out what direction I wanted to take the show and stuff. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm still alive, Chris. Yeah. Just kicking it for a little bit. You know me, I ain't got no job, so fuck it, man. I'm up, in front of this computer. That's sometimes I gotta force myself to go outside because you can be a little bit antisocial, and that's what led me to end up having all those women at the beginning when I first quit my job, because when you're not going to an office all day, you need that conversation, so you end up finding yourself being surrounded by these women who really for the most part ain't got shit to do themselves. So you're at home all day watching the market, so they're at home all day with you, what I mean, because they ain't got shit to do. They got bullshit part-time jobs at Dollar Tree or CVS or something like that. So they're giving you BJs and all that stuff just to put you to just to keep the day moving. Just to keep the day moving. Absolutely, trading can be very lonely, man. Trading can be very lonely. But you find like we got a little trading group here in Charlotte that meets on meetup.com. But I kind of stopped going to them because they started getting on that dividend trading bullshit. Which it's just, God, it's just. I mean, if you are starting out with $100,000 or more, it makes perfect sense. But and plus it didn't help the fact that like, I was like, even at 32, I was like one of the youngest people there, so it really wasn't a good look. How long have I been in options? 2 years now, about 2 years. 2 years. They'd rather be lonely than slaving away at a job. Yeah, but I mean, for me, it's just I couldn't really break above 40,000 a year. That was my problem, man. I mean, I had a bachelor's degree. I didn't have a master's at the time, but I couldn't break above like 40, 42. And it just didn't make sense for me to just. It was like, man, I'll just figure out some online business. And once I was able to replace that, man, because at 40, 42, 43,000, I mean, just start an online business and figure it out, man. If you're making that kind of low money, just start a business. Now, if you're at 70, 75, 80, then now you're talking about, shit, I don't know if I want to give this up because it's not easy to create an $80,000 a year business. But, you're at 40, 35. You're one of these people working on minimum wage at 20. Dude, find something, some kind of arbitrage, or you can easily replace that kind of monthly income. You know, because going 1099 was probably the best thing that happened to me, because one, you can show losses, right? Because when you're 1099, you get all your money up front, right? It's up to you to pay the taxes on it. So with a good accountant, you can show losses where you're not paying anything. You're not paying anything. And then with the IRS, you trade under a corporation, you can get what's called trader status with the IRS. And again, I'm not going to go all into that. I've talked about all that before, but hire an accountant who knows that kind of stuff. If you live in a large city or town, trust me, they have accountants who know all of that stuff. And if you're just starting out, they'd love to help you. And because your work is easy to get done. It's easy to get done because you don't have a lot of zeros on yours. You'd be surprised how guys will not go to an accountant because they think they don't have enough. But the accountant would be more than happy to take your business because it's not a lot of work for them. I had to change my mindset on that. Almost 2.5 years now. 2.5 years now. 2.5 years. 2.5 years now. July of 2017. Yep. Yeah. And again, when you're at a 40K a year job, you're not losing anything. You're not losing anything at all. Now I have my MBA. Probably go in there and make, not maybe the same job, but something else. About the same or more, maybe 55, 60, maybe now. But these jobs out here, they don't really want to pay you a lot of money. They don't really want to pay you a lot of money. Obviously, if I were to go out and get some, maybe some licenses on the financial side, you get access, definitely a lot more pay, right? If I went out there and got maybe a CMT or became a certified financial planner, definitely could get you easily at 70, 75 or above. But then again, there goes my free time. There goes days I want to get days off. And, now I go to every single one of my daughter's field trips. I'm that guy I always wanted to be for myself growing up. I always wanted my dad to come with me on field trips. But he's always working, always working. I don't think my dad ever came to one field trip when I was in grade school. Ever, not even one. Now I've gone to, 3 or 4 this year alone. School's over now, but so it's a lot of things that you gotta figure out what do you want to focus on, man, because life is moving so fast. So what do you want to focus on? Said full-time jobs are overrated. See, I think there's some people who just can't do the job thing, and then there's some people who just need to do that. And I think there are people who have skills that they offer an employer, and the employer should pay them appropriately. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I think the idea of going to a central location to do your job is bullshit unless you need to do it. But for someone who works in an office, sometimes I was like, why can't we all just be remote? And well, do we have to all sit in here and do this when we really don't have to be around each other like this? But that's a whole different conversation. Then I take a course to learn how to trade. Yeah, when I first got into trading was through penny stocks and Tim Sykes. So unfortunately, he did get me at the beginning, and I paid that $145 a month for 6-7 months to quote unquote learn how to trade. And then I found out it was bullshit in that There was way more money to be made promoting penny stocks than there was actually learning how to trade penny stocks. So then that's how I started pushing it on Facebook and on email. But then after that, along with the transition, and just slightly before I started, actually during the show, I paid $500 to go to Online Trading Academy. And Online Trading Academy, they hold like little seminars nationwide, and they teach people how to trade. There are different levels to it, and it was okay. It was okay. I can't say that I didn't learn anything. I did take away some good stuff that particularly a lot of the lingo that I just wasn't understanding. Having somebody who's going to spend 7 days with you for 5 to 7 hours a day teaching you, it did help. So there has to be workers and there has to be bosses. Absolutely. Yeah, you just need to love what you do, man. You have to love what you do. You have to be passionate about it. You have to, we all are at the end of the day, dealing, with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So we all have to feel like we're, going through that self-actualization and growing. And I just didn't feel like I was growing, man. I didn't feel like I was achieving anything. This show, what I'm doing online, when I'm trading, it gives me a lot of feeling like I'm growing because I can actually visually see myself, becoming more wealthy. My network now is way more intelligent than I was when I was working. My reach is a lot better. I mean, this is a lot more, I'm a lot more better of a person now that I've been trading than I was before when I was just basically mindless working at, at the cable company. I had a lot of little bullshit, little corporate jobs working at Comcast and just doing a lot of shit that I didn't have any love or joy in. I didn't know why I was even there. You know what I mean? Just to say I have a job. Just to say I have a job. Yeah. Do I think Online Training Academy is better than these fake gurus? It's more hands-on, man. Online trading is more hands-on. When you go to a place like Online Trading Academy, again, you're getting someone who's been trading for like 15, 20, 25 years teaching you right in front of you. You bring your laptop, you set up, there'll be other traders there, and you guys are going through ideas and ways to trade and stuff like that. So it's a lot better in that respect, yeah. Because the guru can only put out, that's all he's going to do is put out videos. He's going to put out videos. He's going to put out, that's it. Maybe a PDF or two. But, going to a location, going to a little office, because they do them at little, they either do it at an office or at these hotel spots. But going there, setting up, sitting with other traders, and then spending all day, and typically it can be like from 8 to 5 or 9 to 6, talking about trading. You're going to learn. You're going to be leap, you're going to leap, guys who are like just watching videos somewhere in a corner. Appreciate you, Chris, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you very much. Absolutely, and Desert Edge is right too. Throughout time you develop, and look at what I'm doing. I used to be pushing 000 stocks, man. I used to be pushing 000 stocks, so it's a maturation, maturation. And now look, just 3 years later, what we're doing now, way more complicated than penny stocks. And I suspect 3 years from now, it's going to be, same kind of stuff, but much more consistent, even probably much more complicated. I know the show's way more complicated than it was 2.5 years ago, if you don't really know nothing about trading. At the OTC stuff, you can kind of jump in because we didn't, buy, it's going up. Buy, it's going up. I feel sorry for anybody who watches the show now for the first time. You don't know what the hell we're talking about. But 3 years from now, it's even going to be worse. It's going to be even worse. So, because we're all just getting more knowledgeable. You join one of SMB Capital's monthly thing for $27, completely change your trading. Yeah, shout out to SMB Capital. They do some good stuff. I don't like that video when they came out a couple months ago about whole ticker tape thing. I made fun of them. I made a video about that. That was some bullshit. Not a ticker tape reading. All that bullshit. I don't know. I think they just needed a video to make that day. Somebody said, do I do spreads? Oh yeah, Alan. Yeah, we just did the whole show on spreads, bro. We just did the whole show on verticals and option and on condors. We just did the whole show on spreads, man. This $2,500 account challenge is just going to be on these non-directional spread trading strategies. Yeah, we talked about Netflix. Yeah, we did talk about Netflix. Huge miss. And we got to see what traders are going to do from here. But it was just a miss on guidance. It was a miss on guidance that Netflix provided. So I have a feeling they could be forgiven for this because it wasn't a miss on revenue. It wasn't a miss on the bottom line. It was a miss on projected guidance provided by Netflix. They basically said they promised too much and under-delivered. So the market punished them after hours. But I have a feeling, if you're a call buyer, 2.5 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, I think you'd be sitting on some nice profits. I'm reading The Complete Penny Stock Trader by Tim Sykes. Yeah, man, don't. Nah, I get Tim is a salesman. He's a good trader in his own respects. But sometimes, if you depending on how you learn, you may need somebody to guide you, to be there, right? Because you got to understand, when it comes to trading, man, this is a lifelong pursuit. This is not something that you do for 2 weeks or for a month and then you stop. What the education you get in the beginning, if you continue to pursue that education, it compounds and compounds to make you better. And the problem with learning how to trade penny stocks is there's not much more education you can really build on that. And that's just the truth. There's only so many ways to trade an OTC stock. You're just buying. All you can do is go long, literally. You can't short most of those plays. So learning how to do that's out of the question. There are no options, so learning how to do that is out of the question. So you're not expanding, you're not growing. You don't grow when you trade triple zeros, double zeros. There's no growth. There's no growth. People that make lots of money, they don't put video telling how to remember in their program. Yeah. Deal with other people. That's true, man. That's why I can't sell. I don't. That's Rich Million. What Rich Million just said. I don't know how these guys do it with their little programs. I don't want to build out. Could have done that a long time ago. $100 a month. Get my dude. Just running an email list just got annoying. Just hearing back from people. Oh my God! Why didn't you release the trade earlier? Oh, you said it was your pick. Your pick comes out at 9:30. I got mine's at 9:35. You only gave me 5 minutes. Mine was 5 minutes late. Why was my? Oh my God! The complaining, the bitching, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it, man. So I just let those people go, man. Let me work on just getting myself better. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, man. On those little pump emails I used to send out, oh, my God. If somebody got them a minute late or 2 minutes late, oh, God, they just, And it was never like, most of you, it'd always be some like guy in his like early 70s or late 60s, and he's just up the wall mad, and I'm like, dude, like, you don't get off my dick, man. Shit, you know. But at the same time, look, you got to treat the customer. You got to treat every customer like a $1 million customer. When you're a promoter, you got to treat every Joe Blow as he's got $1 million to put on, to hit the bid with, and that's hard to do, man. It's hard to do, because you got a lot of people who are assholes, and that's what when you own a business, sometimes you just got to bend over and take it in the ass, man. From a customer who's only spending $100 with you. Who's only buying 20 shares of stock. You got to spend an hour on the phone to convince him to buy $250 worth of stock. Not a great use of your time. But if you don't do it, then he's going to go on Twitter or he's going to go on some blog and say, "Oh, well, he doesn't answer the phone, and every time I try to call him, he doesn't pick up. He's a scam. He's a scam artist. He's a scammer." So you got no choice. You got no choice, man. So that's why, look, man, let me just learn how to do this myself. It's a slower, right? Because you don't have that income, right? I've been able to use Black Box and Facebook ads and Instagram ads to kind of move that. Thank God for that. But yeah, dealing with people, man, that's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing. You said doing the homework of trading is fine. Oh yeah, I love doing the homework. I love listening to the calls. I love, when you're a trader, you follow the markets as closely. I love being the person people go to, when they have a question, particularly when you're out and about and somebody says, hey, aren't you the guy who knows something about the markets or something like that? Through family, right? I'm the person through family. People ask about those kind of things. I like that. I like that a lot. I just wish people, but your family, because they know you, they don't want to take your advice. So it's sometimes it's sad because you'd give somebody great advice for them to do with their money, and they won't even take it. I've got an uncle who's into all of this. He's in treasuries. I'm like, dude, I mean, you could have made so much money, and he's got a great federal job, making six figures at the airport, doing something over there at the airport with TSA. Guy makes a lot of money. I mean, and the kind of money that he can be putting and set aside on doing some things, and he's just in treasuries making like 2%, 3%. And it's just, and people like that, they'll realize it eventually, but it's just sad. Sometimes they just, Telling you to pump your whole trap for long term. Okay. Large stocks, starting to short, learning futures. Yeah, futures is very valuable. You know, futures is really, really interesting market. You know, and there's futures options too as well, but not my thing. I'm not a person who kind of likes to jump from here to here, and that could be a problem for a lot of people because you'll have some guys who 1 minute they're in real estate, and then the next day they're in insurance, and then they're in stocks, and then they're in. It's like, damn, dude, you're all over the place. Like eventually you have to lay your hat somewhere and say, this is what I'm going to do. When you're moving your money like that all around, there's no, you got to build a foundation in something to where you can actually then, lay a seed so it can grow and actually be something. But if you're constantly taking your seed out the ground, moving it here, taking it out the ground, moving it here, taking it out the ground, moving it here. And then you can't grow. You can't grow. All right, because you're always restart. Every time you move into a different thing, you've got to learn about that thing. And that learning process can be a long time. It can be a long time. You know, that's why I had a guy who was flipping cars. He used to flip cars, and I was, I did a deal or two with him here and there, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I want to learn about this stock stuff." I'm like, "Dude, no, you've been flipping cars for 5-6 years. Become a master at what you do, and then pay somebody else to do that with your money." You know. Right, because by the time you figure it out, you've done lost a lot of money, or your car business is slowing up. So stay on your ground. Or if you're going to do it, then cut everything else and go all in. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. This day and age, there's no space for the guy who knows a little bit about everything. You got to be a master at something. Nobody's paying for the guy who knows a little bit about everything. You got to know all about one particular subject and just go all in on it and forget about everything else. That's why guys come on here and talk about Forex. I'll never make a Forex video. Never make, maybe a Bitcoin tour video here and there. Never, not my thing. I've placed my seed into the equity side, and this is where I'm going to be. I couldn't even imagine taking out all my money now and putting it in Forex. I couldn't even imagine doing that. It'd be a disaster. It'd be a complete disaster to do that right now. Yes, indeed. You can't follow other people's picks live. That's why I never understood the whole thing about I'm going to send you an email with all my picks. When it comes to those live trading things, you know what I mean? Like guys who are like, yeah, we're going to trade live. Like that just seems so stupid to me, because literally a second later, that opportunity could be gone, or a minute or a moment later, that opportunity that trader saw, not going to work for you. It's not going to work for you. Metal miner seems safe. Daily's bullish. Yeah, well, commodities in general is really bullish right now. I love where commodities is going right now. So in general, if you're bullish on commodities, I think you're going to do very, very well in the months ahead. It's just whether or not people want to be patient enough to deal with the short-term inconsistencies that will occur as the Fed and other central banks manipulate money to keep the rally going. Because it's clear they're having trouble here. That's why they want to cut. They're having trouble. The data is getting a little bit skewed here. The companies are beating, but if you see when they're beating, it's thinner and thinner than it's ever been. They're beating by 2 cents, 1 cent. Barely meaning. You haven't seen a complete kill yet. You haven't seen a complete kill so far. But look, earnings season is just started, so we'll see. We had IBM. What did IBM do? All right, there. IBM was losing. They went and bought Red Hat recently. Yes, indeed. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. I'm really looking forward to this weekend. Uh, Sunday, I'll be live again, and the account should be ready to trade, and I will put up videos showing the trades that I'm more than likely going to take going into Monday for that account. And again, it's going to be a process where the first couple trades are going to have to be 60-day trades where we hold them for 25 days because those give us the highest probability of success. And when you have a small account, the 30-day, 13-day trades, they're very enticing, but we need returns, right? We need to make profit. When you only have $2,500, you really can't afford to even a $200, $300 loss. A couple times can really set you up for a really tough way to get back up. I said the bull is weak and sluggish. Yeah, it'll come, man. But again, I don't buy too much into it. Don't buy too much into it, man. Again, we're in an election cycle. They're going to do whatever they can to prevent this from being a disaster. Unless Bernie Sanders wins or anything like that, this is not the time to go out and run and buy SPY $100 puts. So I think just giving yourself some conservative topside risk and downside protection in a low implied volatility stock will generate consistent returns because it showed it. We've shown that here. When you look at tickers like IYR, right? I mean, a slow climb. This is like $3 each. Each one is like $3 or $4. Another real estate one, VU. What others? XLE, which is the energy. These are tickers with very, very low implied volatility here in 2019 that you can put, a spread on and it generate a nice consistent return for you. It's not moving very aggressively, right? 59 to 60. This is what 59 to 50, 59 to 67. All right, this is not big move. This is a weekly chart, so this is 4 weeks. 4 weeks, you've moved $2. All right. So again, not a lot of movement. I think XLB is another one. All right, here's XLB. This is materials. Now, XLB. This is a weekly chart. Nothing. And you got a couple. Here's an explosion here, a couple here and there. Now, here's the thing, though. This could be scary is that some of these collapses here, these weekly, this could get kind of scary at, at some of those levels. I'm doing some more research on low volume ETFs. But the problem is that their options are so illiquid. I got to figure out how, if you got to get out, it could be a disaster. All right. So I'm doing more research on that. Here's another one. Only this is a retail ETF. There are a bunch of these retail ETFs too. XRT is another retail ETF. All right, as you can see here, this is the last couple weeks. All right, very, very low implied volatility in this play. This has been $1.50 over the last 6 weeks. 6 weeks only moved $1.50. That's a lot of potential, theta burn that you can put into your account. Put into your account again, because you're looking at 13 to 25 day holding periods. All right. So it'd be quite lucrative if it goes your way. Obviously, these breakdowns can be kind of scary. All right, these breakdowns can be kind of scary. So you got to be aware of that. This was October, November of last year, but this has been 2019 so far. And as you can see here, this is just $6 up and down, but for most weeks, $1.50, $2. So very interesting. God damn, y'all done got me to go 3 hours. Shit. Just talking about the stock market. All right. So let me wrap up the show, man. I know I've said that maybe 3 times. But again, we're still very much long. Still very much long. The market continues to look relatively weak. As you can see, it doesn't have that strong sense of projection that we saw back in 2017 and 2018 after the elections. We're basically trotting up here, man. We're really trotting up here. Here's the weekly candlesticks, since May, June. They're not the prettiest. They don't show the most amount of strength. Shows a lot of actually inconsistency, a lot of, fear in a lot of those candlesticks. But it's still going higher, so we got to respect it. We got to respect it. All right. Yes, indeed. All right. So let me get ready to get out of here. Put my outro out there. With that being said, guys, I'm going to watch some old episodes of, I don't know, I'm feeling like watching some The Wire. I'm thinking about starting The Wire again, like from the beginning, season 1. I just got the HBO thing, and The Wire was so good, man. It's been a long time since I've watched an episode of The Wire, so I want to go all the way from the beginning. So I think that'd be fun to do. Appreciate you, Rel. Thank you, bro. Desert Edge. Appreciate you. Pursuit of Freedom. Thank you for watching. Joe Miller. Thank you for watching. Rich Million. As always, brother, thank you for watching. Who else was in here? Adrian T. Mr. Cool Millie. He said give me her number. It's hilarious, man. Big Ziti. Appreciate you. Chris McKinney as well. Your kind words, I appreciate you, man. Howard Cooper, Roderick Gray. Yeah, man, we was up late today, man. Javier Mosby, I appreciate you. Onsu Haas One, appreciate you. Good night, man. Patrick Lindsay as well. Good night. Everybody who's watching this on a TV screen, I appreciate you. Press like on this video right now. Share the video on Twitter if you can. I appreciate that. Yeah. Trade well, everyone. See you back here Sunday night. We'll wrap up the week and, maybe have a even more clear idea where the stocks that we just placed on the account today are going to go and where the market will continue to go. We're just trying to stay on top of this to make ourselves some money, man. We got dreams that we're trying to accomplish here, and it requires us to stay, on top of this market so we can make the decisions that need to be made in order for us to, to profit. SC Trucker, appreciate you, man. Yes, indeed. Long time, dude. You've been watching the show, not commenting. Appreciate you, man. Yes, indeed. I'm out of here. Take care, everyone. To all my listeners and watchers, thank you. Till next time.